so that you can kind of get a taste for what it is. And if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in there, and I'll do my best to answer them. There are some things that I may not be able to answer tonight, but feel free to email us with any other questions. I'm going to go ahead and type the email just so you guys have it now, and then I will jump right in. Okay, so let me start with the chart. What I have here is I built a basic 60-minute chart. It looks a little different than the typical catch the turn charts that you're used to seeing. This chart is running the alpha strategy, as you can see up here in the top corner. Let me see if I can get my drawing tool. And no. Okay, here we go. So you guys should be able to see a red dot on your screen. And over here in the top corner you can see CTT alpha, and it's 2TF. That TF stands for dual time frames. So the other thing that we've added to this, not just using the standard catch the turn indicators, but we're also incorporating the ability to analyze a higher time frame so that it will filter trades out for you in the direction of the larger trend. Okay, we know per Vladimir's rules of trading that you look for the change on the hour for those of you that swing trade, and you also want to trade in the direction of the larger time frames, right? The daily, the weekly. Well, now we can take that down to an intraday level where you can run a 5-minute chart, a 3-minute chart, and you can have it automatically analyze a 60-minute, a 30-minute, a 15-minute, and if those higher time frames are trending up, then the strategy will only take trades in the long direction of the chart that you're actually running. So that's a little confusing. I will go over it. Let me just show you. Like right here we have a 60-minute chart, and the higher time frame that I'm running, you cannot see it in the background. I believe I set it to 4 hours. And so I'll go into the settings in a moment and show you that. And I will go over some of the inputs and the parameters that you can set. And it's really, really, really neat. And you guys will, a lot of you have been requesting this for quite some time, that you love the system, but if there was just a way that you can automate some of the steps, it would make your lives a lot easier. And especially for those of you that like to trade, 10 different pairs, and you're constantly looking for a trade setup, you can just let Alpha do the analysis and decide when to take the entries. And then using NinjaTrader's ATM, which is Advanced Trade Management, right down here, I put a sample up here so you can see it. You can create specific stop losses. You can also set your profit targets, and you can also set your trade to go ahead and auto trail. So if you're up in profit and you say you're trading 4 lots, and you can set your first profit target at 10 pips, and it will take maybe 1 or 2 contracts or 1 or 2 lots off at plus 10, and then what it'll do is it can automatically start trailing your stop as price moves in your favor. And then your second target, which would be here, which I don't have selected, let me switch over so that I can show you guys. Your second target, so let's say you're trading 4 lots, this would look something like this, and you had a stop loss on your entire trade. Let's say you're using a 30 pip stop, and your second target, in this case, sorry, this would be 2 lots, and your profit target would be, say, your first 2 lots would be 15 pips, and then you would take off the remainder of your trade at, say, plus 40 pips. Okay, so that's just an example. And once you program this, you save it, you then put it into your strategy. The alpha will communicate directly with your order entry system here and manage the trade for you. So it's not just getting you in the trade, but it can also take you out of the trade. It can reverse your position and go the other way if the market conditions change. It's very, very advanced. There's a lot of features in this, and just really, really happy to be able to share that with you guys tonight. So now I'm going to go into some of the settings, and I'm going to show you what exactly we're working with. So any strategies that you install on NinjaTrader, for those of you that are new to NinjaTrader or don't understand it, you would install a strategy, third party. NinjaTrader doesn't actually make any strategies. Okay, they're just providing the platform for third-party developers. In this case, that would be us, Catch the Turn, and we went ahead and used their platform to create a fully automated version of a fully automated version of the indicator system and the platform. Okay, so here we go. Let me go into settings here so I can show you some of the inputs. Let me disable this, and don't worry too much about all the different options because there's no way you're going to understand what most of these are. We have created a in-depth training manual to get you started, to help you set it up the first time, and it has an example of how you set up all the different, how you build the chart, how you add the strategy, how you load it up, and all the different inputs or parameters. These are all the parameters here that you can adjust. So it's fully adjustable, and let's start here. At the very top, you'll see the base of the strategy is taking its signals off of this high and low. And so these parameters are set to a specific default, which can be tested. You can adjust them. And I'm also going to show you guys in a little bit how you can test a strategy, because you might be wondering, well, that's great. You know, I can put all sorts of different time frames, but how do I know which is the best one? Because as we know, the pairs all move differently, right? The Euro-USD moves differently from the Euro-Yen, and the USD-Yen moves differently from the Aussie-USD. So how do you know which settings would be best? Well, if you're into strategy testing, you're going to be really surprised when I show you the market replay function in NinjaTrader. And what you're going to do is you will load historical data that actually happened. So say you wanted to load the market from last Wednesday. You would go to Market Replay and download it from your FXCM server or your MB trading server, whatever company is your broker. And it will connect automatically through NinjaTrader. And let me show you an example of that real quick before we get into the strategy. So this is how you would test the strategy and test the different settings. You would go over here to your utilities, and you would go to Download Replay Data. Okay? And when you go there, it's going to give you an option. You're going to choose the pair that you want to download. So in this case, let's say I wanted to do USD Yen, and then you would choose the date. And say you wanted to download the historical data from, let's see, June 12th, okay? And then you'll just leave that box checked for level 1 data because we're talking about Forex. Level 2 data is unchecked because that would be for stocks and futures and other instruments. And then you would just hit OK. And your FXCM platform will download all that data. And you can see right here, it says downloading replay data. It's finished. And then now you would just disconnect from your broker, and you would go over here to connect to Market Replay. And as you can see, we now have a new menu option on Market Replay. Right here is a little control that lets you play, pause, and fast forward the market however fast or slow that you want. And you just select the date. Here it's already set to the 12th because that's the date that we downloaded. And it will actually load the actual price data from last Wednesday. And you can sit there and you can adjust the alpha settings and test different time frames. You can change the higher time frame to see which one gives you the best signals. And you can be there for hours just testing and testing. So we'll get you started with some default settings. But some of you that are really into strategy testing are going to want to jump into this and go really, all out and just test all the different pairs that you like to trade. And from there, you're going to choose settings. And you don't have to do this all the time. It's just something that you're going to do once in a while to get the settings that you want to use. And I would recommend, maybe once a month or once every few weeks, you want to run a market, make sure that your settings are optimal. Okay, and that just goes along with strategy trading. If you don't want to get into it that much, it's not required for the strategy to work. The default settings are standard, work pretty well, and we'll show you some of those. So I just wanted to present that because that is one of the features of NinjaTrader that is really, really neat. And so let me go ahead and go back to our live chart. And We're going to switch back to our live charts. Just bear with me one moment. Okay, thank you for your patience, and let me go back in here, and we already have our strategy that we added. And remember, to add the strategy, I just came up here and I added our CTT alpha 19Z2TF, okay? And these are the options in here. And so you can adjust the sensitivity of your base strategy indicator, which is the high and low. These are the default settings. They work quite well. And then your money management would be right here. So over here on the dome, you see that we have a strategy name called Strategy ATM. Well, this name has to match our strategy here, and that way alpha is able to communicate. So as you can see, these two are identical, and this allows the strategy to communicate this information to your broker so that it will open and close your trade accordingly, okay, based on the settings that I put in here, which you can see my stop loss is 30 pips on the first lot and 30 pips on the second lot. My profit target is 15 pips on the first lot and 40 pips on the second part of my position. So you can have as many lots as you want here, and then here you would just divvy up or separate them in however much you want to take off. So if this was 6, you could set it 3 and 3, 4 and 2, however you'd like to do it. So just so you know, that's not limited to anything specific. Then you can come over here and you can set a daily target. You can say if we make $800 for the day, the strategy will automatically turn itself off. That's to avoid you continuing to take trades, or maybe the session's coming to an end and you're close to your target. If for some reason it hits 800, it would automatically disable, whether it's early in the morning, any time of day is irrelevant. So your maximum loss here would be the maximum that you're willing to lose in your account before the strategy shuts down for the day. And we know, and this is just a safeguard that's built into every full featured strategy that you can buy should have something like this on there, because there are days when the market just isn't cooperating, and everyone who's been trading for a while knows that there are days that you're going to have losing trades. So you just want to limit the amount of damage done to your account. So you can set that in dollars right here. So whether it's 500 or 5,000 or 50,000, whatever it is. So that's customizable as well. And then here you have an option where you can have the strategy disable when it hits your profit targets right here. So if you hit 40 pips of profit, it will go ahead and turn off the strategy completely. And so right now we have that disabled so that it will keep taking trades regardless of how many profit targets you hit. Then you can set the order types. You can use market orders. It can set limit orders depending on how aggressive you want to be. If you use limit orders, you're going to get your price, but you're not always going to get filled on the order. So you might miss out on a few trades because price has to trade through your limit price in order to fill you. With a market order, it's just going to take you into the trade regardless when the signal fires, and you'll probably get slipped 2 or 3 pips depending on the pair you're trading, and so your pricing isn't going to be as good, but you're going to guarantee that you're in the trade. So that's up to you as well. And then these are just other settings relating to the limit entries. So I won't get into that right now, but if you do decide to get the platform, all that will be explained to you. The other time frame is what I was talking about earlier, the ability for the strategy to analyze a higher time frame. In this case, you see I set it to minutes and the period to 240. So 240 minutes we know is 4 hours. So it's actually going to look at the trend in the 4-hour chart. If the if the 4 hours in an uptrend, the background of your chart is going to be green. If the 4 hours in a downtrend, it's going to be orange. And you can change these colors to whatever you like too. Say maybe you want it to be yellow, maybe you want it to be blue or aqua. So all these are totally customizable to your liking. You're not locked into anything, so you can make it fit your, the way that you want it to look. The background colors, okay. The next thing is the bars that we use. You have the option to use Heikin-Ashi bars. You can turn those off or you can turn them on. And the strategy will analyze those bars and factor those as a filter into your trading. So maybe the Heikin-Ashi will smooth some of the price action for you. And let me show you what it looks like with the Heikin-Ashi turned on. Let me enable it real quick. And okay, so you can see the bars here are red and yellow. And those are Heikin-Ashi bars, which means that price is averaging the price of the last 6 bars to tell you if price is in a downtrend or in an uptrend. Okay, and so that's going to filter out some trades, and it's a way to make sure that you're going with the trend, but you're also going to miss out on some trades because sometimes the bars won't change color in time when a signal fires. So it's just another filter that we built into the platform to give you more customizability, so you can just filter out whichever trades you don't want. All right, let me disable it so you can see when you set it to false and you enable this, you're going to see that the bars, the strategy is running. You can see your background is green because right now the 4 hours in an uptrend, but your bars look normal. They're like normal candlesticks, okay? So that just shows you the difference there. Let me go ahead. The other option we can use is the ocean. Those of you who are familiar with the indicator over here on the left, this is the CTT ocean indicator. It channels price, and it shows you where price is at an extreme upper deviation or lower deviation, and then a fair price or fair value, the mean, so to speak. So you can actually also use that, and we can enable that, and it will actually filter trades in the direction of the ocean. So if the ocean's pointing upward, it will only take long signals. If the ocean is pointing downward, it will only take short signals. Okay, so that's another filter, and so you can enable that as well. If you do enable this, just keep in mind that you're going to take there's going to be less signals that are validated. So every filter you turn on is going to reduce the number of trades that qualify. So if you have them all disabled, it's going to take more trades, but you have a higher possibility of having a losing trade, because we know that not all the signals are going to work out. But if you want to filter and turn them all on, you may not have any trades one day, or you might just have 1 or 2, but the probability that they're going to end up being successful is higher. Okay, so those are some of the settings. You can also set the sensitivity of our Cobra indicator. As you can see over here on this chart, our Cobra is right here, and when I enable the strategy, you will see the Cobra up here also. So here's the Cobra with a setting of 15, and that's what it looks like. Okay, and then next is the high and low threshold. So here we have our high and low indicator down here. Well, the strategy has a built-in high and low that it uses to also qualify trades. And so I'll go over here and let me enable it one more time. And as you can see here, you can actually set this level based on the market where you would like to filter out trades. So high and low is really good at showing buying pressure and selling pressure. So as Cobra confirms here, the high and low also has to show that there's a lot of buying coming in. And as you can see, right now this red line is set very low. I think it's 0.75. Well, let's say at 0.75, every single trade that signals up here would probably be taken, because you can see high and low is set so low. And you don't necessarily want to take every signal. Like, you wouldn't necessarily want to be in the short. Maybe you wouldn't want to take every single trade. In this case, this is trending pretty nicely. So it looks like every trade would have been, almost every single one would have been valid. But let's say you say, no, I only want to take trades when the high and low is at least 4. Okay. Now keep in mind, every pair is going to be different. In this case, for the USD yen, this goes from 0 to 10. But on a different pair like the Euro yen or the Euro USD, this might be 0.000. So these values are going to be different. And what you're going to do is you're going to look through the historical data here. And you're going to say, well, price trends pretty well anytime that it gets over 2.5 or 3. So what I could do is I will go into the strategy. It just takes a few seconds to analyze that. You go into your strategy, and now you know that you want to set it above 3. So I'm going to set it to a value of 3. And when I go back here and turn it on, you're going to see where that line has moved up to 3. So now in order for a trade to qualify and to trigger a buy signal or a buy entry in this case, high and low has to at least reach 3. In this case, you can see it shot all the way up to 8. So it would have taken that trade. But what we're doing is we're getting rid of these. So you can see over here, these bars never met the qualification. They never pierced that level 3. Or so in that case, your trades would not have been triggered. Now, it will tell you when it skips a trade also, and you can make the decision. You can say, you know what, I know a high and low is not quite where I'd like it to be, but you know, I like this candle pattern, or I like this chart pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and take a manual entry, and you can go ahead and just take the trade manually. So it will show you when it skips a trade also. So that's another feature. And just so you know, if you do want to take a manual trade, you would have to do it through the dome right here so that Alpha knows that you're in a trade because it's connected to your ATM here. So that'll avoid Alpha from reversing your trade or closing you out of a trade. Okay, so that's just a little side note. And so there's various other options. We went through the main, bulk of them. I'm trying to see your account you would select here. And when you add your live account, you're going to have a sim account option here, so you can practice adjust the settings and figure out which settings you like. You will do all those test trades in your sim account, and then when you're ready to turn it live, you're going to click this arrow here, and your account number will show right here, okay? And you'll be able to select your live account through whoever your broker is. And the next setting is just to turn it on and off. When you enable the strategy, you'll see because your chart will change colors, and you'll have something here in blue that shows you the previous trade, the profit you have for the day, and it shows you enter trades with market. So that means that we have market orders set right now, and that's it. And it gives you ATM strategy, the name of your ATM, which is right here, and then it shows you whether you can enable or disable. And the other thing you can do on the actual chart itself, which will save you time when you have this running, you can go right here, and if let's say you only want to take long trades and you're worried that maybe the signal is going to fire a short trade or a sell trade, a sell order, you just go in here and you disable it, and it will only take trades in the long direction because we've turned off the short side. Okay? The other option is to turn off the long side if you want to go short, and so it won't take any trades long. It will only take short trades. Now, because the higher time frame is currently moving higher, it won't take any short trades at all, even though you have this turned on. Okay, and then if you're in a position, you want to exit your position for whatever reason. Maybe it hasn't hit your profit target. Maybe it's only up 10 pips, but you're done. You don't want. You're just trying to scalp a few pips out of it. Then you can just go right here and you click the flatten button. Okay, and so we built in these features into the chart to make it easier for you to manage the trade. And then you can always go to your control center and you can review your strategies right here. And you can see which strategies you have running. And you can see here that we have one strategy enabled on this account, and you can just uncheck it if you want to disable the strategy as well. So you don't have to go into the chart to do it. And then you can review your account performance through NinjaTrader's Control Center. You would select your trades for the let's say we were doing the 12th, you would come over here and select June 12th to June 12th, and you would look at currency, and then you would run the analysis when you generate the trades for that day. Okay, so that's how you would go into this a little more and figure out which values you want to use, and there's really no end. There's so many different features in here that it will definitely, it is a lot to take in. I'm trying to just cover everything in general and just going a little in depth on some of the parameters and features. So other than that, that pretty much is the base of the alpha trading strategy, and it's something we're really happy to share with you guys now. We've been talking about it for a long time. It wasn't ready, and we kept having clients ask about it and saying, hey, when is this going to be available? We really want to try it out. We really want to use this, and it's going to allow you to get more trades, find more trades, analyze more markets, and it's going to eliminate a lot of the work for you. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat box. Other than that, I've covered everything on here, and I'm going to hand it over to Vladimir, and go ahead and type any questions you might have. Thank you again to everyone. Okay, we have a question here. So what is the built-in strategy batting average using built-in filters? Okay, Toby, the best way for me to answer that question is you have to run the back tests on the market replay, because on some days it'll be 80%, on some days it'll be 60%. I can't just pull numbers out of thin air and tell you that it's going to give you, 9 out of 10 trades are going to be winners. That's I'm not trying to BS you guys. The reality is every pair trades differently. Some trend well, and some are very range bound, and it also depends on the day. So if we have for example, today was a news day. The FOMC released information. Today would have been a very good trend day, so it would have caught a bulk of those pips with just the trend, just the move in the markets, having very little to do with the strategy itself, because the strategy is designed to capture trend moves. Okay, so that's what it was designed for originally. So today it might have just knocked it out of the park, and then yesterday it may not have done as well. So I can't give you, there's no number for me to give you. If I tried to just make up a number, I think that would be dishonest, a disservice to you guys. So realistically, that's why we have the ability to back test it and to go back and go over markets. You might say, I want to see how it did 3 weeks ago. Well, you can go and download that replay data Monday through Friday if you want to put the time, and just go ahead and run the strategy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The nice thing about market replay is you can speed it up to, I think, 500 times normal market. So you can get through those trading days real quickly, and you'll see your results there. And some days, as you'll see, some days will be really, really excellent, and some days might just be average. Another question. You're welcome, Toby. I hope that kind of helps. I'm just, I want to give you the most realistic answer possible. Do we avoid the news just like how we do it manually? Well, that's a good question, Clyde, because there is one feature I did not mention yet, and that is our avoid zones. So let me go over here, and let me show you guys this feature. There's a feature here called avoid zone 1 start, avoid zone 1 end, and then there's also another set labeled 2. What that does is that allows you to set the time zones that you don't want the strategy to look to look at any trades. It's going to skip trades during this time. So let's say you only trade the euro from midnight to 10 a.m. Okay, Pacific time. So for those of you on the West Coast, let's keep it on Pacific time. And for those of you elsewhere, just keep in mind that I'm inputting these parameters based on the clock on your computer. Okay, so we're here in Pacific time. So let's say you want the strategy to not look for any trades starting at 11 a.m. Okay, so I set my start time. That's the start time to avoid any trades. Okay, and then I want it to be turned off until let's say 10 p.m. tonight, because I don't want to trade the euro during off hours. So the European markets open about between 10 and midnight. They really start to move. So let's say at 10 p.m. and these values have to be input military time. So it'd be 2200 hours. Okay, so it will stop. Let's see the best way to say this. It will start looking for trades again at 10:01 p.m. Okay, and then you can set another set of avoid zones. If they're going to be the same time every day, you would just type in the same exact values. And so that's from 11 a.m. Pacific time to 10 p.m. Pacific time. The strategy is completely avoiding any trades at all. Okay, now to answer your question, on a news day, you would absolutely disable the strategy like I showed you in the control center, or even on the chart itself. You can just click to turn off the long and short. If you turn both of those off, it won't take any trades. So that would be the best way to do it. There isn't a strategy that I'm aware of that would be able to turn itself off right before news or anything like that. So it does have to be done manually, but it's relatively easy to do if you have the charts running. And as we know, there's always some news on a daily basis, but usually the high impact news are the only ones that really might affect your trades. Other than that, price is usually pretty good. The charts are pretty good at accounting for news. And so the fact that we're looking at price action for reacting to news the way it does, we know that the indicators and the strategy are analyzing those price bars. So it's not something you need to worry about too much, but yes, I would recommend on high impact news or like a day like today, you might want to turn it off right as the release comes out, and then wait a few minutes just to get that initial reaction, because it could whip you in and out of a trade relatively quickly. Okay? You're welcome. So in this case, I showed you guys that it was a 60-minute chart, but you can use a 2-minute chart. You can use a 3-minute chart. You can also use a tick chart, for example. And I'm going to load up some tick data. You can use pretty much any type of candle or type of price bar that you want to use with the strategy. So that's another feature. Some strategies are limited to only working on minute charts or time-based charts. Ours, this strategy is not. You can use it on whatever you like. So it's loading up some data. It's taking a minute there, but it will load that up. And then also in the strategy, you can give me 1 second while this chart loads. All right, guys, I apologize. This chart is taking longer to load than I. So if you have any other questions, feel free. Otherwise, you can email us. And let's see here. Okay, guys. Well, I don't see any more questions specifically for the alpha. Thanks. I really appreciate your time. And now I'm going to hand it over to the man with the plan, the big chief. And if you guys, I want to thank you all again. And go ahead and email us if you have any questions about the strategy, and we'll try and help you out and get you going with it. Those of you that already have the platform are really going to be amazed with the convenience of this. And it's just another thing that we're trying to bring to our clients to make your trading more successful, more well-rounded, give you more options and more diversity so that you can expand the number of markets to trade and really just start building those accounts up. The recording, as soon as we're able to get it edited, we will post it either on the website or on our YouTube channel. And if you want to just send an email to info@catchtheturn and say, hey, I was at the webinar, I'd like a recording. And if we haven't posted it right away, as soon as they do, they'll probably send you an email and sent with a link to the video. All right. With that being said, I'm going to cut out now, and I want to thank you guys again. Have a good night.
Hello, can everyone hear me okay? Well, very good. Well, I'm happy to see some of you guys on there. The whole idea of us giving you guys alpha, it's because we were thinking about it, is that so many people had asked us on how to get to be more profitable. And the worst thing about trading, I think, is that when the trade comes, whether if it's going long or short, we're always second guessing ourselves. Okay, is that it? Is that it? Is that it? And we can never, we can never go, go buy or long, and by then the trade is gone or it's halfway there, and that's basically what happened to most of us. Paul went over quite a lot of things today. I didn't anticipate that he'll be going over all this stuff. So you guys are pretty much set for tonight. And the reason, we're going to be fixing, I'm going to be releasing a new version of Steam that will make sure that it works even better, because I don't really like the way it's plotting right now. So that's going to be done probably in the next couple of days. And also, I believe most of you guys probably have the platform on your computer downloaded. And one of the reasons I took it off the cloud is because I wanted you guys to have the ability to have not just one screen, but to have multiple screens. When we were trading in my office, usually Alpha will take all of our trades, because it takes quite some time for someone to get used to trading themselves. But with Alpha, there is no thinking. If the let's say we have the Euro Yen and then the USD Yen, USD, the CAD, whatever you name it, Alpha can take 4 trades at the same time. Meanwhile, if you have one trader trying to trade and thinking about it, it's very hard for them to make that one decision and get into the trade. So that's really important that for you guys. That's also, it helps a lot for you guys to be able to, I guess I call that edging. If one isn't working out, typically at least 2 or 3 are working out for us. So that's a plus. If you guys have any more questions, tomorrow I'm gonna get more into Alpha tomorrow, talk about even more. If you guys have any more questions, any specific question that you guys want to know, just send us an email. That's all I'm going to be doing the next couple of weeks, is teach people how to use this, how to use Alpha. It really is an amazing tool. Hey Clyde, nice to see you. Hey Sunil. I said, actually, I sent you a text. I want to talk to you about Alpha, but hey Sunil. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this training. we're going to be doing a lot more. That's just, you guys understand how this works. And the way I have alpha working for me, for example, it's at the beginning of the hour. As soon as the first hour, for example, like right here, as soon as Cobra change to going long, right here, this first candle alpha will take the trade. It would get us into the trade because I don't think he went over that. As soon as it fires up, this first candle will show up. And we were short right here. We're looking at the UAN. It had been going short. The moment that the hour is turning going long, alpha will fire up and actually get us into the trade. That way you don't have to think about it. You don't have to ask yourself. And let's say price is really extended, for example. What alpha would come back and do is that it would wait. It would place the order right there. You have a pending order waiting right there. As soon as price pull back down, typically it does, then it will take the trade for you. You will see it. They will tell you that it skipped it, and it will show you where on the DOM it will show right there. And you know if it's long, basically where the pending order is. So if you want to move it closer, if you want to back it up, it's all up to you. But they'll do all that for you just at the beginning of the hour if you want to use the hour chart. If you want to use this 5 minutes, yesterday I think this morning I think Paul had it on the what was it on the tick chart? Yeah, two tick chart, right? 233. So we were trading that, and we were up like 80 pips. Just letting it go, just let it do its thing. So it's very, very effective. It's very efficient. So you guys will, it's pretty much the same thing as before. Just it takes all the trade for you. If it takes all the emotions out of it. If you're scared to get into the trade, or not even scared, nervous, or if you've been burned. So imagine this. Let me see if I could have an example here. Like right here, this is one of the things that I do not like myself. Right here, for example, this is 60 minutes, okay? Well, it's sort of going short. And if you get into the short, you may made pips, 15 pips, maybe not. But that's the reality of it. That happens. If you're looking at this, if you didn't make any, if you didn't make any money, all of a sudden it's turning going long, you as a trader, you're gonna have a tough time trying to go back long. Because let's assume that, well, let's say hypothetically you lost 10 pips. It's gonna be very hard, or 15 pips, for you to go from a short and turn around and go to a long, because it's just changed. You were just short. It took you short and then turn long. What alpha will do, it will actually close that short for you. You don't have to think about it, and it will push you back as soon as that second candle pops up. It will get you back in that long. So again, there was no emotions. You didn't have to worry about it. Every single time I've lost a trade or I've missed a trade, it looks like in my office these days, when I allow my traders to actually sit down and allow them to make a decision on when to get into a trade. Next, then I'm asking what happened. Well, I thought it was going to do this. I thought it was going to do that. I thought it was going to do this. So by then it's too late. So with alpha, it will take it for you at the very beginning. So I'm glad some of you guys were able to see all the stuff that alpha does, and we were able to show all the settings, all the different things that you can do. Tomorrow, I'm going to spend the rest of the week. That's all Paul and I are going to be doing, is teaching you guys on how to use alpha and giving you guys a chance to test it and let us know what you think about it. So if you guys don't have any more questions on that, let me know. If not, we're going to get back to trading. Any questions? Do you normally trade yes. Toby wants to know, do we normally trade 240 minutes as well? Yes. It all depends on what we're doing, what the strategy we're trying to use. It makes no difference to us. Whatever we feel is profitable. In our case, we have sometimes we're doing the 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Sometimes we're doing the 60 minutes. It all depends on what we're doing. But we do look at the 3-hour and the 4-hour chart as our big indicator. When we do that, it's mostly when we're doing position trades. not when we're scalping. That doesn't, you know, that we don't apply that. Only when we're doing position trade to see basically when the end of a run is going to be over. Let's assume the hour short, daily short, it's been going short. So we're looking at the 4 hour to see when it's going to be over, when it's going to be, when there's going to be a breath. That's usually when we use it. Any more questions? Well, we're gonna post this on I believe we're gonna have this on our site tomorrow, so you guys can download it, go over all the settings, play with it, and go over it again and again if you need to. But every single I think what we might start doing is that every night for the next, I don't know, maybe for the next couple of weeks, we might take one particular section of alpha what we're going to be working on, and people who have it will have a chance to sit there and actually work with us as we, you know, as we're setting it. For example, if we're going to talk about it, you know, avoid time zone, what's the best time to use it, to utilize it, we can just sit down and work on that with you guys. Or if we want to work on, for example, on the threshold, on high and low, what's, you know, as far as we're concerned, based on our experience, which, you know, which setting we have for the USD, which settings we have for the USD yen, all those different pairs, so we can share that with you guys. We can go over all that stuff and which settings we have that works best for Cobra. So we'll take different days. We're just gonna go on specific thing. We'll keep the webinars a lot shorter, but we'll be very specific, just for those different settings. Toby wants to know when is the next session. So, well, what I've decided is that this whole week we're going to be having webinars like 4 days a week, every single day. I'm going to do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So probably Monday. I might even try to have one Sunday night. I want to make sure you guys get this stuff. You get it right. You know, my hope is that all of us will be successful trading. And the only way we're going to do it is by practicing. It's just like practice. That's what's going to make us great. So we expect to have a lot of webinars every single day. If not Sunday, but for sure Monday. You guys are going to get emails. And Toby, if you want to send us your information, we can have you on the list so you can know, so you know exactly what the topic is going to be. Any more questions? Well, I guess there is no more questions for me. Hello, Nancy. Well, so far, what do you guys think? Because I'm looking for feedback on Alpha. What are you guys' thoughts on Alpha?